All right, everyone, welcome back to another deep dive.
Today, we're going to be taking a look at something that I think affects all of us, stress and how to manage it.
So we've got an interesting source here.
Okay.
Stress management tips from therapistaid.com.
And I thought it would be great to have you on,
Oh,
to kind of discuss this and maybe illuminate some of these points.
yeah.
The thing that really struck me right off the bat
Mm-hmm.
was that they open with, stress isn't a bad thing.
Right.
And I think that's so important because so often we're told
Yeah,
stress is the enemy. We got to get rid of stress.
absolutely.
But this is taking a different angle.
It is.
It's saying, no, stress is actually something we can harness.
Yeah. It's funny because I think we often think of stress as this purely negative thing.
Right.
But evolutionarily, it's there to protect us.
Hmm.
It's that fight or flight response that helps us
Yeah.
deal with danger.
Right. Like if a bear is running at you, you need a little bit of stress to get those legs moving.
Right. And so I think that the point the therapist state is making here is that it's not about getting rid of stress altogether. It's about understanding it
Yeah.
and learning how to manage it effectively.
Right. And even use it to our advantage.
Absolutely. Because, as they point out,
Yeah.
stress motivates us to work towards solving our problems.
I love that. Yeah.
So it can actually be a really powerful driver.
Yeah. It's like that little push, that gets us to actually do the things.
Exactly. It's like that deadline that's looming that motivates you to finally finish that project.
Right. Exactly.
You might be stressed about it, but without that stress, would you actually get it done?
Probably not.
Probably not.
It's about reframing that stress and thinking about it as, okay, this is a signal that I need to take action.
I'm ready for this.
I'm ready for
Then add tackle that.
Exactly. And there's actually a lot of research
That supports this idea of stress reappraisal.
Oh.
So there was this researcher, Kelly McGonigal.
Who did some fascinating work on how our mindset about stress actually affects our physiological response.
Oh, wow.
Like literally how our bodies react to stress.
So like if you think about it
Yeah.
as a positive thing, then your body's like, okay, we got this.
Exactly. Like your heart rate might still go up. Your breathing might get faster, but your blood vessels actually stay relaxed.
Oh, wow.
Which is a healthier response than if you've used stress as a threat.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Right. So it's really powerful stuff.
Yeah, so it's not just like a mental trick.
Right.
It's actually changing
It's physiological.
your body's reaction.
It's physiological, yeah.
I love that. Okay, so,
We've kind of reframed stress a little bit.
Yeah.
We've got a different perspective on it.
but then the question is, okay,
Mhm.
how do we actually manage it
Mm.
in those day-to-day
Right.
moments when we're feeling overwhelmed?
Absolutely.
And one of the first things that Therapist Aid suggests is,
Just talk about it.
talking about it is huge.
Like, even if you're not going to get a solution,
Exactly.
just saying it out loud can really help.
It's like letting off steam.
And
You just need to get it out.
it's not just like a feel-good thing.
Right.
Like, there's actual science behind this.
Absolutely.
When we talk about our problems,
Mhm.
we release hormones like cortisol.
Which can actually counteract the negative effects of stress.
Exactly. It helps to regulate our stress response.
Wow.
And it doesn't have to be a formal therapy session or anything.
Yeah.
Just a quick vent to a friend, a family member, a colleague.
Yeah, someone you trust.
Someone you trust, exactly.
Just to be like, ugh, this is happening.
Exactly.
And they might not even need to say anything.
Right. Sometimes just having someone listen is enough.
Yeah. It's like they're taking on some of that burden.
Absolutely. And that can make a world of difference.
So talk it out.
Talk it out.
Okay. What else have we got here?
So beyond just talking about it, Therapist Aid also highlights the importance of prioritizing. Okay.
And focusing on what they call quick wins.
Okay. I like that.
So it's about identifying those tasks that you can complete quickly.
And getting those done first.
Okay, so kind of like checking things off your list.
Exactly. It's about building momentum.
And reducing that feeling of overwhelm.
Okay, so even if it's just like,
Right.
Cleaning off your desk or...
Exactly, or finally replying to that email that's been sitting in your inbox for a week.
Yeah, that always feels good.
It does, right?
Yeah.
It gives you a sense of accomplishment.
It's like, okay.
I did something today.
Exactly. And each one of those small victories chips away at that feeling of being overwhelmed.
And I think a lot of times when we're feeling stressed, we tend to procrastinate.
Absolutely.
And then we end up with this huge pile of things.
Right. And then that just creates more stress.
It's a vicious cycle.
It is a vicious cycle.
Right.
So by focusing on those quick wins,
Okay.
you can break that cycle and start to feel more in control.
Yeah, like you're actually making progress.
Exactly. I like that. And then another thing
that they emphasize is, not neglecting the basics.
Yes, the foundations of well-being.
Yeah, things like sleep,
Diet.
And exercise.
Exercise. Those are so crucial.
I feel like those are the first things to go.
They often are.
Right.
When I'm stressed out.
When you're stressed, you're busy, you're like, oh, I don't have time to cook a healthy meal.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll just grab takeout, or I'll stay up late working.
Or I'll skip the gym.
Right. But the thing is,
those are the things that actually help us manage stress more effectively.
Yeah, it's like trying to run a car on fumes.
Exactly. Eventually, you're going to run out of gas.
You're going to break down.
You're going to break down. And so
it's so important to prioritize those things, even when we're feeling stressed.
So it's like self-care.
It is self-care. It's not selfish.
Yeah.
It's essential.
It's an investment in your well-being.
Absolutely. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to be able to show up for the things that matter most to you. Right. And you're going to be more susceptible to stress.
Exactly. It's a vicious cycle.
I hate that we keep coming back to that.
I know, right?
But it's true.
It's true.
Okay, so we've talked about talking. We've talked about prioritizing. We've talked about the basics.
What else can we do to manage this stress monster?
So Therapist Aid also recommends diversifying your life.
Diversifying? Okay.
Yeah. So think of it like a stock portfolio.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
If you invest all your money in one company and that company goes bankrupt, you're in trouble.
Oh, yeah. That's a scary thought.
Right. But if you diversify your investments, you're more resilient to market fluctuations.
You're spreading out the risk.
Exactly. And it's the same with our lives.
Okay.
If we put all our eggs in one basket, so to speak.
Whether that's our job or our relationship or one particular hobby, we become more vulnerable to stress when things go wrong in that area.
Right. Like if your whole identity is wrapped up in your job.
Exactly.
And you lose your job.
Then you're going to feel completely lost.
Yeah, like a failure.
Right. So the idea is to cultivate multiple sources of joy and fulfillment.
So like hobbies. Relationships.
Spending time with loved ones. Volunteer work.
All sorts of things.
So if one thing isn't going well, you've got other things to fall back on.
Exactly. It's about having a safety net.
I like that. And that kind of leads into the next point, which is, making sure you have personal time.
Yes, even when you're busy.
Even when it feels like
there's no time.
Yeah, it's so important.
Because it's like you were saying before.
It's an investment.
It's an investment in yourself.
It's not being selfish.
It's not being selfish. It's about recharging.
Yeah.
So you can be your best self.
It's like hitting the reset button.
Absolutely.
So that you can come back.
And tackle everything else.
Exactly. And even just 15 minutes a day to read, meditate, go for a walk.
Do something you enjoy. Do something you enjoy. Can make a huge difference.
It's a reminder that you're not just a human doing.
Right.
You're a human being.
You're a human being. Exactly.
Okay. So we've talked about a lot of different strategies here.
We have.
But one thing that Therapist Aid also mentions is the importance of keeping things in perspective.
Yes. Perspective is key.
But I think that's easier said than done.
It is. It's definitely easier said than done.
Like when you're in the middle of a stressful situation, it's hard to see the bigger picture.
It can be. It's like you're in the forest and you can't see the trees.
Yeah. You're so focused on that one problem.
And you can't see anything else.
Exactly. And so that's where writing can be really helpful.
Writing.
Yeah. Journaling specifically.
Okay.
It allows you to externalize your thoughts and feelings.
So you can see them.
To see them on paper and gain some distance from them.
Like you're getting them out of your head.
Exactly. It's like taking a step back.
Okay.
And looking at things from a different angle.
So instead of those thoughts just swirling around, you're actually putting them down.
You're putting them down. You're organizing them.
And maybe that can help you see
that they're not as bad as they seem.
Exactly. And often when we do that,
we realize that things aren't as dire as they feel in the moment.
Okay. So
it's a lot of great advice.
It is.
From Therapist Aid.
About managing stress.
And I think the key takeaway here is that it's not about eliminating stress completely.
Right.
It's about understanding it. Reframing it. And using it to our advantage.
Absolutely.
To grow and learn. So to kind of recap.
We can talk it out. We can prioritize. We can take care of ourselves. And we can diversify our lives. And through all of that,
we can hopefully
start to manage stress. In a more effective way. Yeah, and I think
as we continue on this journey of exploring stress management, there's a question that comes to mind.
Okay.
Based on some of the things we've talked about today.
Have you ever heard of the idea of scheduling worry time?
Scheduling worry time.
Yeah, like actually setting aside
Specific time each day?
to worry.
Interesting.
Because I've heard some therapists suggest this
Okay.
as a way to kind of contain those worries.
So instead of letting them pop up
randomly throughout the day.
Yeah, you're like,
From 4 to 4.15.
That's my worry time.
That's when I'm going to worry.
And the rest of the day, I'm going to try to focus on other things.
That's a really interesting concept.
Right. I don't know if it works.
I've never tried it personally.
But I can see how it could be helpful.
Yeah, like maybe it would give you a sense of control.
Right, like you're not trying to suppress the worries.
Yeah.
You're just giving them a designated time and space.
Yeah, and then the rest of the day you can be like,
okay,
I'm not going to worry about that right now.
We'll worry about it later. I've got my worry time scheduled.
Exactly.
So I'm going to focus on this other thing.
I'm curious to hear what our listeners think.
Yeah, if anyone has tried that.
Let us know.
Definitely.
All right, well, that wraps up another deep dive.
Thank you so much for joining us.
It was a pleasure.
And we hope you learned some
helpful tips and tricks
for managing stress in your own life.
Absolutely.
And until next time,
remember,
you got this.
You got this.
We all got this.
We're in this together.
We are.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye.